Hi, Aleya.
Hi, Aleya.
I did it wrong. It's Aleya. Okay. So, welcome everybody to Wood and Water. This is Aleya Fraser, and she is a farmer, an agroecologist, organizer, and teacher. She is the co-founder of Black Dirt Farm, which is on the ancestral land of Harriet Tubman. Can you believe it? In Maryland. Apart from that, she is a great advocate for afroecology, where Black people are encouraged to reconnect with the land fully. She wears many hats, and the most delicious one is as a cocoa farmer making chocolates in Trinidad and Tobago. So, do you remember how we met?
Yeah, the Permaculture group on Facebook, Wasamaki.
Yeah. Did you end up going to Wasamaki?
Yeah, I went, and that was kind of a catalyst to everything I'm doing now too. One of the catalysts along the way.
Perfect. That's so cool. All right, so let's get started on these questions. Number one is very basic and kind of woo, but what is your relationship with the earth?
I really like that question. I think of myself as an extension of the earth, as all beings and things, and the earth as an extension of the cosmos, and the cosmos as an extension, a part of God. So in that as above, so below aspect, I like to think of, or my relationship is as a reflection, and I try to, mirror the aspects of earth and how the earth holds us, nurtures us, stewards us, and try to reflect that in the community and back to the earth too. So reciprocity.
Nice. Do you consider yourself to be an environmentalist?
Terms are loaded and language is weird, but I feel like today that term kind of separates the human being from the environment. Like, I'm an advocate for, I'm doing this for, whereas like what I do and what I work with is recognizing our part of the whole, and like how we're part of the solution. We could be part of the problem. An environment is not separate of us. So yes, I'm an earth lover, earth steward, earth advocate, educator, respecter. But the environmentalist movement in particular, maybe that's more what I'm thinking or talking about when I'm like, maybe I'm not so aligned with that, but I know you talk a lot about intersectionality, so you get it.
Yeah, I get it. In what ways do you participate in conserving and protecting the environment?
Through my farming practices. Right now, I'm not like actively farming like I was on the Eastern Shore of Maryland with Black Dirt Farm. I do a lot of more support for other people, so uplifting voices, and so it's like a indirect but direct way. And I, on my personal land, like where I'm at right now in Trinidad in the mountains, I'm in like the conservation mode. So like listening, observing, like understanding where things want to be planted. I just feel like I've slowed down in my conservation to accommodate the cycles and the seasons, because it's a new environment here. I also consider like my hiking, my sharing online as part of conservation, just like listening and showing and sharing what I'm learning along the way.
Okay, great. What are your politics around agriculture, and what do you think people need to take notice of?
That's a big question. Politics around agriculture. I feel like, I know that agriculture is based on land. We know that, and land is something that a lot of people are disenfranchised from and trying to get back to. So yeah, with the as above, so below, like an ecosystem starts on the ground and then builds up to society level. And when you have an imbalance in one aspect, that trickles through the rest of the politics of the system. So although there are ways right now to be more organic, be more local, there's still a huge imbalance on the land level of who controls the land, who's working the land, who profits and exploits the land. So I feel like there needs to be a huge overhaul of the system, and a lot of my work tries to work on that system level as well. Like in the Chesapeake region, put together this like blueprint for the Chesapeake, and all of it, we were just trying to drive the point home that land reparations, land back, land reclamation are like key, and then we can build all these other beautiful parts of the food system that need to change and are changing.
Great. So who inspires you most to do what you do?
Have a lot, of course, but what first things that came to mind were George Washington Carver and Benjamin Banneker. Just their scientific, cosmologic, spiritual way of doing their work in the past, and how it relates, and like how I learned from what they did, and how nothing has really changed. With Benjamin Banneker, he was a farmer who studied the stars and made almanacs, and he was Black, African, learned from his Dogon ancestors. So just seeing that's what I'm doing now. That's what a lot of people I know are trying to get back to. That's a huge inspiration. And of course, George Washington Carver, founder of sustainable agriculture. His pamphlets I still look at. He has 99 booklets, and they're all relevant. Like
That's crazy.
The same. I could send them to you. I have them on Google Drive, but
I only know him for peanuts.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you're taught, and that's a huge contribution. But sweet potatoes, compost, intercropping, farming with the moon, like.
Are you serious?
Wow. Has a lot of recipes in there, girl. It's good.
Nice. Where have you gained the most knowledge?
I would have to say through I want to say ancestors, but it's even more direct than that. Like my grandmother and being in Trinidad, like those two things have like light speed ahead a lot of my knowledge and development with the land, and like connections with patterns and what needs to be happening in my life, at least to trickle out. So yeah, I think there's like this, my grandmother always talks about her father who was a farmer. So those stories and those connections. She has dementia, but still knows what plants need to be used for what and when to prune what based on the moon. Just recognizing like that knowledge is inside of me and figuring out ways to pull it out, especially being in Trinidad has been huge. And besides that, friends, scholars. I have a lot of friends who are scholars who are really breaking the mold and how we talk about agriculture and our role with it and spirituality. So big up to Dr. Monica White, Freedom Farmers, Shakira Tyler. She's a dope academic.
You seem to have this kind of innate tie between agriculture and spirituality. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Yeah. I mean, I see God in all creation. So, caring for that creation to me is a reflection of that spiritually. And the abundance that comes from nature that you see reflected is a lot, that you see in spiritual texts around the world. So it's like a connection to source. And a lot of my work, I see that about that connection to source, whether it be the land, whether it be your spirituality and your soul, when people connect to that, whatever it is, and a lot of the times it's through the land, because there's like a million different ways to connect to it, from farming to crystals to hiking to, to what you wear on your body. It's all there.
Yeah. Do you think the world needs more people who understand where their food comes from?
Definitely.
Yeah.
When I saw that question, I thought of when I taught students in different ways. One of my lessons or favorite lessons was asking them like, name one thing that doesn't come from plants. So I would like expand it from food to like, they're like, my clothes. I'm like, look on the label, does it have cotton? This is a plant. Or they're like, paper, just the things. As an adult, things come from plants, but you don't always stop to think about it. So I think people knowing the source of everything, which is the earth and the land, there's only a few things. And as humans, we're trying to evolve and to be God and like make synthetic things out of, but that's a whole nother story. And I'm not against technology, but yeah, it's really important. And that's my cocoa work right now. Like chocolate is one of those things that we're so far removed from. Like so many people eat chocolate, everyone knows what it is, but how many of those people know what a cocoa pod looks like or tastes like, or the people who grow it, So I like taking those type of products and like breaking it down and making it more accessible, like where the source is, where it comes from.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Are you in favor of permaculture and organic farming principles?
I'm in favor of them. I'm not, like, if we want to go into the politics of agriculture, that's a huge one too, because organic certifications are expensive, they're prohibitive, they don't always mean what you think they mean. So like we need more education in general, and permaculture as well. It's a great system, but I don't think we can be dogmatic these days about how we do things. And that doesn't say organic or permaculture is always dogmatic, but yeah. I think people just have to know where their food comes from and understand the process, and that's the education thing.
Are you hopeful about the future of a more respectful approach to nature?
I am hopeful because around me, I see the changes happening. Of course, if we all live in our own bubbles. So then I look outside, I'm like, oh, that's going on over there. Right across, like my view is of a mountain, and then there's a quarry, like taking off half of a mountain. I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
But then COVID happened, and who needs slate? Who's building new things? So who knows? Like maybe there's change coming. So there's that. And one of my biggest hopes is that people get in rhythm with the earth and get in tune with it, to know that it's not destroying itself. We're not destroying it. It will survive. We will survive. It'll look different. But my hope lies in like resilience and change, because we have to evolve. We have to revolve. So
no choice.
No choice. Well, people are holding on. Like, no.
Yeah. What message do you want to spread through your life's work?
The connection to source is key, and the abundance that flows from that. Like I really want people to move out of like as much lack, because we are in an oppressed system, and a system that shows us lack and programs us in that way. But
scarcity mindset.
Yeah, the scarcity mindset, exactly. So if more people could like just switch that program, even though it's hard, because it's like, but wait, look, there's a quarry right there, but then you look over here and it's lush mountains. So like just focus on the abundance.
That's so my approach. That's so like the way that I want to go through life, because there's a lot of ways to like, if you know that there's something that you have to get done and that there's no option, there's no need, once you've assessed the danger or the negatives, there's no need to dwell on the negatives. You can only focus on the positive and give your energy to the positive if you want to get the maximum out of it. Like, that's how I view things.
It's all in the name, our name.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my list of questions for you, and it's been so wonderful talking to you. This is actually our first real conversation, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. In Italy, we came close, but that didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, it's been awesome to follow your journey online, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. You're a wonderful soul. I hope your work continues and flourishes. You're doing great work. Um, and I hope you're having a happy new year so far.
Thank you, and thank you for this platform and the conversation. It's always lovely exchanging with you online and now on Zoom.
All right. So I'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.
Bye.